we leaned heavily on the pitching depth that we had that we had built out over the last 12 to 24 months via the draft, via some trades. And we weren't the only team that needed to do that, right? We can look at the Yankees and Blue Jays both throwing rookie starting pitchers in the postseason. And so we should feel good about the steps forward that group has made. But at the same time, losing pitching in particular can be so destabilizing to the rest of the team that there is absolutely no such thing as having a pitching surplus or having too much pitching. Now, I think what we need to do and what we'll do over the course of the offseason is take a step back and really recognize what type of potential pitching additions or acquisitions really move the needle for us, because we do have, what I would suggest is a strong group of pitching depth. And so we want to make sure that any additions that we make actually improve our team. And, I think you can say, hey, we've got to add someone at the front of the rotation, or, if there was significantly less depth, we would say we need to just amass depth because of the things like injury and attrition that wear that down. Where we don't want to find ourselves is having to address both. And I don't think that's the case right now.
Craig Breslow using 1,000 words to say what he could say in a fraction of that.
If you were him, would you bring up the Yankees' young pitching, that guy Schlitterbogen, or whatever the hell his name is, from Walpole, that was right in your backyard and went to Northeastern, and you missed on him? You didn't know it?
I think that's a bogus take.
Really?
Yeah. And Milliken has done a really nice job, to your credit, Milliken, explaining how that draft went for the Red Sox. They sold out and took guys over slot that they then underpaid to have the money to get Roman Anthony. Do you want Cam Schlittler or Roman Anthony?
Schlitterbogen.
No, you don't.
No, I want Roman Anthony.
I've thought a lot about Schlittler, by the way.
Have you?
Over the last couple of weeks.
You think
since
he's one
that
and done?
game.
You think he's
I think he's never going to have a game. And this is not to put him down or say that I don't think he's good. He's never going to have another game like he did against the Red Sox in a playoff game.
I agree.
That is never going to – do you know how rare that is?
Yeah. You guys do.
I mean, statistically – that is off the charts rare. If I'm him, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of that for like the next year, because you probably will never match that again in a game that is a playoff game for a couple of reasons. One, statistically, that's so rare to have it happen. And two, you're not going to face another lineup as weak as that Red Sox lineup.
That's true.
To his credit, though, against the Blue Jays, he should have been through 7 innings and 2 earned if Jazz Chisholm can play baseball correctly.
He pitched well in that game, too. Again, I think he's good. But I'm just telling you that type of performance, that's not the norm for anybody.
No.
That's not the norm for Hall of Fame guys who pitched in the playoffs plenty.
Even his stuff was on a level that he wasn't able to create in the next start. His nerves were so high as a rookie in his first game. Everything was up a couple ticks on its own.
All I'm telling you is don't overrate it. That's all. Don't think that's who that guy is going to be every time he goes out.
I just took a shot there.
I know you did. You wanted to take a shot. But what year was that? Breslow wasn't even here yet.
I know.
It wasn't even his draft.
I know. But it gets to the whole thing of, we don't do the in-person scouting anymore. We just do videos.
Well, that's the way the sport is going.
I get it. But
I'd also question with the Cubs doing it the way they are as well. How much does that come from Theo Epstein and him seeing kind of what the future of baseball is?
So the comment here, though, is that starting pitching-wise, they can never have a surplus. That's standard operating procedure there. Everybody will tell you that. But he talks about how they value their depth in the rotation and how they feel like they've got depth, so they've got to pick their spots and be selective and go for the things that move the needle as it relates to starting pitching. Those are his words, move the needle. To which I would say, have you ever considered moving off of some of those guys that you consider depth pieces and moving them elsewhere to upgrade and get a better piece that moves everyone's needle a little bit, Zoe?
My needle.
Yeah, that moves Zoe's needle. Moves them all. Needle. It's just philosophically, it's like, okay, if there's a number 2 starter, that should move your needle, and you should not give a damn about what your depth is. You shouldn't even have to think about it. That's all.
Okay.
I just wish they would act more like that and say, well, we're going to look at this in the simplest of terms. We love Garrett Crochet. We like the guys that come after him, but we could really use an upgrade behind him in that number 2 slot. And we're going to attack that first, and if it doesn't work out, well, then we'll take a different approach.
Did you hear Matt yesterday on...
go simple, stupid on this one. It's really not that complicated of a problem.
Did you hear Maz yesterday on Bregman? Came out of the gate, say they need him. They need him badly. Like a lot of people just like want to say, "Oh, you can just replace him." Maz like you got to keep him. You got to find a way to.
It's just hard when you start talking Alex Bregman. He played 114 games last year, and he was the 7th most valuable third baseman in baseball. Didn't even play a full season. I think it's a much shallower position than people remember just in like today's current game. I think that's a big part of the problem there. And it's easy to go and say, go trade for someone or whatever it may be. Give me a name. If you can give me a name or someone you really like that would fit in, sure. I think that's where the Bo Bichette conversation goes a lot. But I think at the same time for Bregman, are you going to get a good defender at third base when you're already talking about how you led the last year in errors? You want a good defender there, right? You want a guy that's not going to strike out a lot. Alex Bregman checks that off. A guy who's good at Fenway Park and was a big reason why your home record was good again. Alex Bregman checks that. He checks the leadership thing as well. And you look at some of his teammates who are older and played into their mid-30s. You guys see George Springer in the playoffs so far? He looks pretty good. He's old. Jose Altuve's still doing it. So I think, yeah, Alex Bregman can give me something at 35 and 36, even if it isn't the greatest deal out there. Welcome to free agency. You're going to overpay for these guys. That is what this is. Do you want to compete next year or do you want to take a step back? And I love that Breslow keeps saying running it back is not what we want to do because that should be the approach this offseason. Don't do what you did in 21. That is the wrong way to go about it. Push the chips in. Don't treat this like 2017. After 2016 when you made the playoffs for the first time. Make it 2018. All gas, no brakes.
The overarching sentiment is we're still not where we want to go.
Okay.
I think you could argue we took a step forward, which means we're closer. But I said it the other day in the end of the season wrap-up. I think there's real danger in thinking that because we took a step forward from 24 to 25, if we just roll this back, we'll take another step forward.
I do love that answer. I'm not going to lie. That is a great answer. Probably the best thing I've ever heard him say. And by the way, he said it in like 20 words, which was, attaboy, Brez.
I still want to punch a wall.
Hey, way to go, Brez. Like, hey, Brez, not so stiff today, my man. I love that.
That's pretty stiff.
And I'll give him credit during the season, and you can kill him for it whatever way. Quinn Priester obviously hasn't had the playoffs that I think a lot of people thought coming from the regular season, but he was willing to trade that pitching depth at this time. You have a lot of these back-end arms. Hey, if there's a deal and Hunter Green's the one everyone's talking about right now, Mark Sheldon was speculating, a Reds reporter, that maybe he'd be up for trade. Okay, push your chips in and be willing to move some of those back-end arms because not only do you believe you can replenish the talent, but, you know, you need that higher-end talent to push yourself over the top. You just drafted Kyson Witherspoon. You know, you just added that guy, Marcus Phillips, who was the comp pick you got for Quinn Priester. Like, you should be able to replenish some of these good pitching prospects that are now at the big leagues or about to be there.
I want to get to this. It was a tweet from June Lee earlier today. The Red Sox have the 5th most expensive tickets in Major League Baseball. They currently rank 23rd in how much of their revenue they spend on players. Rankings 1 through 30 in Major League Baseball. The Red Sox in 2024 had $574 million in revenue, which ranks 4th in the sport. 4th. Their payroll and tax this past season was $242 million. It puts their payroll to revenue at 42.1%, which checks in at 23rd in Major League Baseball. The New York Mets, the LA Dodgers, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Philadelphia Phillies are 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the list. Yeah. So when we were talking about this yesterday about the money, you immediately get the tweets and the calls and the emails like, well, how are the Mets looking right now? I don't know. How are the Dodgers looking right now?
Yeah, and they're
How's Toronto looking right now? They're still playing baseball, aren't they?
Dodgers are playing Game 3. They're up 2-0 and 6:08 pitch tonight. They're rolling. Back in it.
This isn't a surprise, though. I mean, Jeff Passan last month in an article when he was talking about the salary cap broke down the Forbes valuation list and said that the Mets, I have it right here, Mets led the league in lost money at $268 million. There were 10 other teams that lost money. Meanwhile, the Red Sox checked in as the most profitable team at $120 million. Red Sox made $120 million.
And you know what Sam Kennedy's answer would be to this? we put that money into, the structure of things and everything behind the scenes. Okay.
Shut up.
Show it to me.
To the tune of $120 million a year?
That's what I'm saying, though.
What are they building?
Every time you ask them about this, that's what they point to. They go, it's all the stuff behind the scenes. It's a lot of the structure stuff. Show it to me.
New shower heads?
What
What are we talking about?
differently?
The hell are we talking about?
A hell of a spread post game.
Fans are waiting for the
saw the new
Devers money
clubhouse,
to be
McCone.
spent. I'm serious. Fans are waiting for that Devers money to be spent on players. That's what they're waiting on. And they better not start with this damn infrastructure stuff.
And this is where things are going to change because Garrett Crochet and Roman Anthony, yes, they're paid, but their luxury tax numbers are up now because they're going to cover the entirety of the extension. So I don't want to hear that as a reason why you're not willing to spend either, just because you have to account for those guys in a much bigger way than, a year ago.
I'll wait. I'll give them their time to find a way to spend it. But when I see that, and to tie it back into the Bregman conversation, it's like, oh, who cares? Just pay him whatever the hell he wants. Why are we even having this discussion? What a waste of time. Is it an overpay? Sure. Why am I going to care about that? Just spend the money and get him, and don't let that stop you from going out and doing it again with a free agent who hasn't played here. Oh, is it Kyle Schwarber? Is it Bregman?
How about
I don't know.
both?
How about both? We agree. There it is. Done.